Okay, I want to talk about the bass RC booster. And again, if you weren't with the other clip that I said, both these units are fantastic for passive basses. We talked about the Trilogic already. Let's talk about the RC booster now. This is, if you live in New York, this is what you want because it's really small. You throw it in your bag. If you've lived in New York or any big major city, you have to travel light, and you want stuff that sounds great and it's not going to get in your way. This is true bypass, again, like all the Xotic effects. And what's great about that, I haven't really talked about that too much, but pedals seem to load your line, and it can degrade your sound. So having true bypass is a fantastic thing to have because you can just automatically go to your direct sound. That means if the battery dies or anything, you don't have to worry about it. You just shut the unit off if you have to. That probably won't happen because this unit takes so little power. I don't know exact spec there, but go ahead and look on the website. It's probably less than 20 milliamps, which means a 9-volt battery is going to last a really long time, 6-8 months. Fantastic design. Let's talk about what it does now. If you have a passive bass, you're going to find out that in some situations you're not going to have enough level. Or let's say you have a passive bass and you don't want to modify it. It's an old 1967 jazz bass or 62 or 57P bass. You don't want to get in there and start messing around with it. So what you have here is basically a really great preamp that's a pedal board. Okay, so let's actually get into the pedal and let me show you what it can do. The most important thing it does actually is it boosts your signal. And that's really important in a lot of ways. I mean, sometimes with a passive bass, you need a lot more signal, and this will do it for you. You have gain, volume, and they're not the same thing. Gain is usually the first thing that it hits, and you can get a crunchier sound by turning up the gain. And then this volume is basically like a master volume, like on an amplifier. So if you like the tone that you're getting, and the engineer says, well, I need a little less, you can turn it down, or you want a little more. The treble is cut and boost, and so is the bass. Quite a bit. Fantastic. It's probably 16 dB difference, which is an amazing amount for a little pedal like this. Now, another great way to use a pedal like this, let's say that you don't want to use it, you want to use it as a different sound, a completely different sound. So when you take a solo, you have a completely different sound, or you're playing a melody part, and that can be anything. So here's your passive sound that we have, and let's say when I cut this in, I want it to go to like a nice low-end thing. But I don't want to add any volume, I just want the same volume. So here we got. Now we go to this. A nice little sound. Maybe you need this sound for a ballad that you're playing, maybe you need it for a reggae groove. Then you can go back to your regular sound. So you have everything, it's like having a switching amp right at your fingertips. And again, I want to stress the fact that it's tiny. And if you live in a city, I live out in LA now, everybody shows up with a truckload of gear and 3 racks, and that's just the sound man. But you have, this is nice to have a tiny little thing that you can take on the road, take to Europe, take anywhere you want. And it's like having a whole preamp, a whole bass preamp, in your pocket. And I'm not sure if I should say this, but I bet you can probably drive a power amp on its own because it has so much headroom, which means you can take this and plug straight into this Crown K2 and come out of these cabinets for those purists out there that don't want to, use any kind of preamp. So there you go. That's the RC Booster.